The moon of Zylar 7 was a stark, desolate expanse, its surface marred by the scars of countless battles. Once a lush oasis in the Andromeda Galaxy, it was now a barren wasteland, pockmarked by craters from relentless bombardments. The sky above swirled with smoke and ash, blocking out the distant stars. The echoes of explosions and the hum of energy weapons filled the air, a constant reminder of the brutal conflict raging across the galaxy. Amidst the chaos, a small but fierce warrior darted through the craters and debris. Zylar, a member of the Xeric species, stood barely 3 feet tall, yet his agility and ferocity belied his diminutive stature. His emerald green skin, covered in fine iridescent scales, shimmered even in the dim light of the war-torn moon. Zylar's sharp violet eyes scanned the battlefield, his pointed ears twitching at every sound. He was part of the United Galactic Alliance, UGA, a coalition of species united to resist the oppressive Draconian Empire. The Draconians, a reptilian species known for their brute strength and advanced weaponry, sought to conquer and enslave the galaxy. The UGA was their only obstacle, and the battle on Zylar 7 was a critical point in the ongoing war. Zylar's mission was clear: plan a series of disruptor charges to cripple the Draconians' communication network. As he raced from one point to another, setting the charges, he couldn't help but notice how dire the situation had become. The Draconians were overwhelming the UGA forces, their superior numbers and firepower pushing the Alliance troops back. Suddenly, a powerful explosion rocked the ground nearby, sending Zylar sprawling into a crater. Dazed and injured, he struggled to get up, his vision blurring. His communication device was damaged, leaving him isolated. As he lay there, he saw his comrades retreating under the relentless assault. His heart sank as he realized they had no choice but to leave him behind. The pain in his side was intense, a searing reminder of the draconian weapon that had struck him. He could feel his energy fading, the darkness closing around him. The sounds of battle grew distant, and for a moment, Zylar thought this was the end. He had fought bravely, but it seemed his efforts were in vain. Just as his consciousness began to slip away, a shadow loomed over him. Expecting a draconian soldier to deliver the final blow, Zylar braced himself. Instead, he heard voices speaking a language he didn't understand. Struggling to focus, he opened his eyes and saw a group of humans. Their faces were etched with concern. The leader of the group, Captain Elena Rodriguez, knelt beside Zylar. Her dark eyes, filled with determination and empathy, met his. She spoke into a small device, her words transformed into Xeric language by a universal translator. "You're going to be okay. We're here to help." Zylar, still wary but too weak to resist, allowed the humans to assess his injuries. Their medic, Dr. Samuel Hayes, worked quickly and efficiently, stabilizing Zylar with advanced medical technology. Despite the language barrier, their actions spoke volumes. These humans, members of the UGA, were not abandoning him. Captain Rodriguez made a decision that would defy orders but save a life. She ordered her team to evacuate Zylar, carrying him back to their ship amidst the chaos of the battlefield. As they lifted off, Zylar caught a final glimpse of the desolate moon below. He was leaving behind the scene of his near death, saved by those he least expected. In the safety of the human ship, Zylar allowed himself to relax for the first time in days. He was surrounded by unfamiliar faces, yet their kindness and determination gave him hope. As the ship ascended into space, Zylar realized that his fight was far from over. With the humans' help, he might just have a chance to continue the struggle against the Draconian Empire. Together, they could turn the tide of the war. The interior of a human ship, the UGA Star Cruiser Valiant, was a stark contrast to the chaos left behind on Zylar 7. Clean, well-lit corridors hummed with the quiet efficiency of advanced technology. Zylar lay on a medical bed in the ship's infirmary, surrounded by an array of unfamiliar devices. The room smelled of antiseptics, and the steady beeping of monitors provided a soothing rhythm. Captain Elena Rodriguez stood nearby, her face a mix of concern and determination. She watched as Dr. Samuel Hayes, the ship's chief medical officer, meticulously attended to Zylar's wounds. The small alien warrior was barely conscious, but his eyes flickered open occasionally, filled with pain and confusion. "How's he doing, Sam?" Elena asked, her voice tinged with worry. Dr. Hayes adjusted the device, emitting a soft blue light over Zylar's injuries. He's stable for now, but he's been through a lot. His physiology is quite different from anything we've seen before. I've managed to stop the bleeding and repair some of the internal damage, but he needs rest and time to heal. Elena nodded, relieved but still anxious. She turned her attention to the universal translator. Can he understand us? Dr. Hayes glanced at the translator and then at Zylar. It should work. His species might have different vocal cords, but the translator can handle it. Let's see. Elena approached Zylar, who was now more alert, though clearly in pain. She picked up the translator and spoke gently. Zylar, can you understand me? The small alien's violet eyes met hers, and after a moment, he nodded weakly. The translator echoed his response in a metallic yet clear version of his native tongue. Yes, thank you for saving me. Elena smiled, relieved that the device was working. We couldn't just leave you there. You're safe now. We're part of the United Galactic Alliance, just like you. Zylar's eyes widened slightly. Humans, I've heard of your bravery. Why did you risk yourselves for me? Elena exchanged a glance with Dr. Hayes before answering. Because we believe in the Alliance and what it stands for. No one should be left behind. Now, Rest, will take care of you. Over the next few days, Zylar remained in the infirmary, gradually regaining his strength. The humans took turns visiting him, sharing stories and learning about his species through the translator. Zylar told them about the Zarek, a small, agile race with an unmatched talent for technology and strategy. Their home planet, Zarth Prime, was a vibrant world of lush jungles and advanced cities, but had been ravaged by the Draconian Empire. Captain Rodriguez visited often, bringing updates on the front lines and ensuring Zylar was comfortable. She found herself fascinated by his tales of Zarth Prime and his people's resilience. One day, as Zylar was practicing walking around the infirmary, Elena joined him. You're looking better, she remarked, a smile playing on her lips. Zylar nodded, his strength returning. Thanks to you and your crew. I owe you my life. Elena shook her head. You don't owe us anything. We're allies, remember? We fight for the same cause. Zylar paused, his eyes thoughtful. I've seen many species in this alliance. Some fight for their own interests, others for glory. But you humans, you fight with a different kind of courage, a kind that comes from compassion. Elena looked away, slightly embarrassed by the compliment. We just do what we can. Speaking of which, once you're fully recovered, we could use your help. Your knowledge of the Draconians could be invaluable. Zylar's eyes gleamed with determination. I will be honored to help. The Draconians have caused enough suffering. Together we can stop them. As days turned into weeks, Zylar integrated more with the crew of the Valiant. He shared tactical insights and taught the humans some Zarek combat techniques. In return, he learned about human technology and their strategies in warfare. The mutual exchange of knowledge and culture strengthened the bond between Zylar and his human rescuers. One evening, as the ship sailed to a quiet expanse of space, Captain Rodriguez called for a meeting in the briefing room. Zylar, now fully recovered, joined the senior officers around the large circular table. A holographic display of the Andromeda Galaxy hovered above them, marked with various battlefronts and strategic points. Elena addressed the group. We've received intelligence about a key Draconian outpost on the edge of their territory. If we can infiltrate and disable it, we could turn the tide in this sector. Zylar, with your knowledge of the defenses, we have a chance. Zylar studied the hologram, his mind already formulating a plan. Their outposts are heavily fortified, but they have weaknesses. I can help you exploit them. The team worked late into the night, formulating a plan that combined human technology with Zylar's intimate knowledge of Draconian tactics. The room buzzed with a renewed sense of purpose and hope. As the meeting concluded, Captain Rodriguez placed a hand on Zylar's shoulder. We couldn't have done this without you. Zylar looked up at her, his eyes filled with gratitude. And I wouldn't be here without you. Together, we will win this fight. In the quiet moments before the mission, Zylar stood at a viewport, gazing out at the stars. The vastness of space felt less daunting with his new allies by his side. He knew the road ahead would be difficult, but with the humans' compassion and his people's resilience, they had a fighting chance. And so, with hope rekindled and a new alliance forged, Zylar prepared for the battle that would change the course of the war.